Good evening, everyone. Today is Tishri 22, Solemn Assembly, last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's 2019 according to Yah's True Time Creation Calendar, or it is October the 4th, 2015, according to the Man of Sin's calendar, the Gregorian calendar. Today our subject is the significance of the blood moons and how they show that we have entered into the time of the end when all things are at hand. And so we will have a study today on the 4 blood moons that we've had here at the last 4 feasts, beginning with the Feast of Unleavened Bread in 2014, the Feast of Tabernacle in 2014 as well, the Feast of Unleavened Bread in the spring of this year, and now the Feast of Tabernacle in the fall of this year, in which we had the 4th blood moon, which was seen by millions of people worldwide. It is a sign that the great and dreadful day of Yah is upon us. Because we can turn to the book of Joel, chapter 2, and let's read that in verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And you know he does this on the day of Pentecost, just like he did to the disciples during the time of the Apostolic Church in Acts 2. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old man shall dream dreams, your young man shall see visions. So we're going to have prophets prophesying, men getting dreams, and young men getting visions. So God's going to send messages through dreams and visions and prophecies to awaken his people to the time of the end, and so that they'll look for the signs in the heavens. As he said in Genesis 1:14, he has appointed the sun, moon, and stars for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So this blood moon is a sign of the heavens, showing that this is the beginning of a 42-month period in Revelation 13, and it's the image of the beast is being set up, which we saw happen a little over a week ago, right after the Day of Atonement, on Tishri 10, or September 22, trying to get to the during the 100-day prophecy. September 22, then the 23rd through the 27th, the Pope is here in America and he spoke. And if we go to the book of Revelation 13, it says, verse 3, this is talking about the leopard-like beast. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So we had a wound given to this beast, we know was during the Dark Ages with the Protestant Reformation. A deadly wound almost put the Catholic Church out of commission, but they didn't finish the job. They quit protesting. And so the wound got healed beginning in 1930 or 29 and onward, when Mussolini made a concordat with the Vatican. Gave them millions of lira. Yeah, and so now this beast is on the scene today, and we're seeing Revelation 13 being fulfilled right before our very eyes. In verse 4 says, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, showing that they're worshiping Satan, don't even know it. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. Well, no common man can make war with this image of the beast system. The only one that can really make war with him, and which they do in Revelation 17, they make war with the Lamb. It's the Lamb that overcomes this image of the beast system. So you got to get on the Lamb side, which is Yahshua our Savior today, and be a part of his kingdom. And that's when you'll win this war against the beast, because he's already fought this dragon once in the course of heaven, right after he died on the cross and went back to heaven. He had wars. And Revelation 12 says, I'll read it right quick. Verse 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So here we know we had a war in heaven at that time. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. So the dragon and his angels lost the war. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. So all the people that follow this image to the beast system are deceived by the dragon. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So the angels that were believed his lies and stayed with him, they were cast out of heaven. Now, it says here in Revelation 12:3-4, there appeared another wonder in heaven, behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Very similar to the scarlet-colored beast of Revelation 17. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. So his tail, meaning when he was cast out of heaven, 1/3 of the angels followed him to the earth. And they were cast out after the cross because of what they did to the Son of Yah. And they could never go back to heaven. And so now they are confined to this earth until the end. And so he has great wrath to try to destroy God's people today. So we had war in heaven then, and we're going to have war again on this earth. And it's going to be the Lamb coming to take on the dragon again. And once again, Satan's going to lose this war. But before he does, he's going to take millions down with him with his lies and deceptions of this image of the beast system. And because Revelation 13 verse 5 says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. 42 months is 3.5 years. It's a period, all these prophetic periods in the Bible, the 460 days, 42 months, 2300 days, times and half time, they all begin on feast days, feast seasons. And they always end on feast days or feast seasons. Just like Yahshua was baptized at the Feast of Tabernacles to begin his earthly ministry, and he died on the cross at the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It was a 3.5 year period. And so we're going to have that again, that he's continuing 42 months, and this 42 months, we believe, began at the Feast of Tabernacles with the 4th blood moon this year. And so here is what's going to transpire during that 42 months. And he, this little, this beast that was wounded, and his wound was healed, it says he opened his mouth and blasphemed against Yah, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. So he's against Yah and his name, which we know what that holy name is, and his tabernacle, or his temple sanctuary system in heaven. He hates that because people that learn about this sanctuary find salvation, and they get their sins forgiven and blotted out through the blood of Yahshua, our high priest. So he wants to destroy that. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. So here we go. He's going after Yah's people, the saints. And to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Showing he is going to overcome those that are outside of the kingdom for a period of time. But hopefully they'll make it through this time of trouble, and they'll come out and be gathered in with a great multitude. So you got to be ready if you're wanting to be one of Yah's saints. He's coming after you to make war with you. So verse 8 says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Who is that? Worship him is this papal system, the Roman Catholic Church, that is run by that old serpent, the dragon, Satan. They're going to worship him because their names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So here's the crux of the matter. If you can get your name written in the Lamb's book of life, you won't worship that beast, and you'll get a crown of glory forever. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So everybody that worships the beast system will go into captivity. And so, but he's going to go into captivity too, because his angel comes down from heaven with a key to the bottomless pit and chains Satan and holds him, even puts a chain on Satan and locks him up in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. So Satan and his cohorts are also going to go into captivity. And he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So all the warlike weapons and instruments that they have to try to destroy Yah's saints will be turned upon their own head and will destroy them in the end. Here's the patience and faith of the saints. And then verse 11 says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This little 2-horned beast that we know from inspiration and prophetic interpretation that This is the United States of America. The two horns represent a Republican and Protestant nation. They were a Protestant nation at one time. They are no longer a Protestant nation today because they no longer protest against the Roman Catholic Church and the evils that she did.
And we can see this on what just happened. When the Pope came, the whole world wondered after the beast. And the United States was the last place where there was religious freedom. And so if they could conquer the United States, which that has been the Jesuits' plan, to conquer the United States from within, and people thought, oh, well, it's no big deal. One, people don't study history. And they don't know that at one time it was against the law for a Catholic even to have office. So we see that most of the people in Congress and in the
Senate.
Supreme Court and all throughout the land is nothing but Catholic Jesuits and or Jesuits being taught at these schools. So they took over by stealth. So the culmination came when, and if you guys saw the picture, there was a picture of the Pope that it was taken from behind. There was a picture of the Pope and Obama. They're facing the obelisk, the Washington Monument, which is an obelisk, which is a phallic symbol, because the Catholic Church is not a church. It is not a religion. So, well, it is a religion, but it isn't what the people think. It's a Christian religion.
It masquerades as a Christian organization, which it is not.
And which it is a pagan religion, and the Romans were known for pedophilia. They had gymnasiums where they went to, and nobody wore clothes, and they had young boys as their partners, and they used them. So this may sound harsh to a Catholic person, but when the history is being wiped out by Jesuits, they won't even let these books be written. They've been erased for 100 years. They don't want people to know the truth. You really have to do your due diligence and search for these things. And there's been a lot of people who are scholars and historians that have been trying to bring this forward. There's a book called The Two Babylons, and what is the name of the author?
Alexander Hillsall.
Okay, so you can get that if you need some information. You can watch YouTube videos with people like Eric John Phelps, who's done a lot of research. But just want to say that the Catholics, when they came, it was a big deal. Now, we had some Adventist people mocking the 4 blood moons. And I won't mention names, but he said, okay, so what happened? The moon didn't go out of its order. The Catholic Pope didn't decree the Sunday law. And he mocked the people who were looking at the 4 blood moons.
Signs of the heavens.
The signs of the heavens. Now we know that Yah himself, to his people, told them that how he would let them know when the signs and the seasons were. Now, to us, we don't use that language, but we know that what we use today, people say, oh, check your calendar and see if you can meet with me today. Check your calendar. Okay, so that's how we know today, oh, I can meet with you on Friday at 12 o'clock. Well, how does Yah meet with us? Well, he tells us so in Genesis. And we'll go there really quickly just so that you hear it with your spiritual ears. Genesis 1:14. And Yah said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Okay, how do you divide the day from the night on a calendar? Okay, you have a day, and then the next day starts. You know, everybody goes by a Gregorian calendar, but that's the Catholic's calendar. But Yah tells us how to divide a day and the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So he's telling us that the lights in the firmament of heaven divide the days and give them the signs for seasons and for days. So he doesn't have this calendar that says October or fall or winter. He has it in the sky. So to be mocking the 4 blood moons is to be mocking Yah. Now that's how far the Seventh-day Adventist Church has come, because they mock the calendar in the sky. Now, in Revelation 12:12 it says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabiters of the earth and sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Now, this is important. How does he know he has a short time? Because he knows that Yah's calendar tells the exact time. It's a very exact instrument, and we need to also be on that exact instrument. And so that's why if you go to timesandlaws.com, we have a calendar, and we'll be putting up the new calendar for next year to let you know when the feast days and when are these days that Yah meets with his people. So Satan, the devil, is come down unto you, and this is in Revelation 12:12. So we're talking about knowing that your time is short is knowing that you're in the last hour. Okay, so the last hour is the 12th hour, not the 11th hour. It's the 12th hour, because in Matthew
20 and in John 11:9, I believe it says, "Are there not 12 hours in a day?" Matthew 20 is the prophetic time clock. And so when the sun goes down, the day is over. When the day is over, the work for salvation souls is finished.
Are there not 12 hours in a day? Not 11 hours, but 12 hours. So here on Revelation 12:12, it says that Satan knows that he has a short time. But how will he know that? Because of what just happened. 4 blood moons. Those 4 blood moons represent telling 4 things. If you go to Revelation 9:15, it says, "And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year." 4, okay? So those blood moons are like when you hear the clock strike 12, it's like bing, 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 bing. In Yah's clock, he gave 4 blood moons to represent an hour, a day, a month, and a year. Yah works a lot in 4s because we know that we're in the 4th feeding flock of the SDA Church. If you need to know more about 4s and where we are in time, go to Times and Laws. There's a study called How to Not Have the Trait of Satan, and it goes into more detail there. But I want to tell you that making fun of the blood moons because you think that nothing happened. The Pope came over and he talked to the UN and he talked to the Congress, and the moon didn't go out of its orbit. Okay. And so it didn't change its order. Okay, so does Satan know that his time is short? Are things changing? Do you realize that when Jessica Lynch, no, it wasn't Jessica, Loretta Lynch, went before the UN, she's our Department of Justice.
Attorney General. She's the United States Attorney General. Took Eric Holder's place.
She went before the UN, which there was no fanfare, because how does Satan work?
Yeah.
He doesn't work with fanfare, folks. He's a sneaky man. And so through Loretta, she went before the Congress, and she kind of presented what their plan was. And the plan is that there's going to be an alliance, a coalition of cities across the world, an international alliance of cities, that they'll have their own police. They have their own ways of conducting the law, and you can look into more about that, but you need to know that there was a whole police force set up through the cities and the states of all the nations So people said, oh, well, he didn't declare a Sunday law. But if you look at the laws that they have on this international federation of the World Federation, if you go to their website, they show you how they're going to police. They say the way that they're going to do it is through credit and banking and the ability to use credit cards and your bank cards and money and monetarily. So if you look at the laws that they put in place, they're going to be able to police the people by the purse. And where else do you see that in Revelation, that they'll be able to control you by the purse?
Revelation 13, and it says, verse, okay, well, let's go ahead and finish where I was at. In verse 11, we had another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, spake as a dragon. We know that's the United States of America, Republican land, but they quit protesting. And he speaks as a dragon. The dragon we know is Satan, so they're speaking the words that Satan wants them to say to destroy the saints of Yah and to bring in a persecuting power to get rid of them. Verse 12 says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So the first beast was the Roman Catholic ecclesiastical period from 538 to 1798 AD, and before that was the Roman Empire. It was pagan. The second part was papal, the ecclesiastical part. So he's going to give power to this first beast, or is he going to make an image to that beast? Basically, he's going to reinstitute the Dark Age period in our day. So, and he doeth this. This here is the lamb-like beast and false prophet. He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So we're going to have you're going to see miracle-working power performed by this beast system. And so don't be deceived by it. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying then to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So we saw this set up very subtly during the last week of September, right after the Day of Atonement, and all the way up to the Feast of Tabernacles, a 5-day period there, that this beast system was set up, and we're now in the image of the beast system today. Even though we didn't see anything sounding cymbals or outstanding or anything flashing lights showing us this had happened, it has happened, because it's fulfillment of prophecy, and prophecy is a sure word, and so these things must take place so that the end can come, and Yah can gather his saints into his garner. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The only nation that has the power to give this image of the beast life is the United States of America. And that's what this lamb-like beast that speaks as a dragon has done. He has given power to the Roman Catholic Church to rule the world, to the United Nations, a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world economic system. So you can't buy or sell unless you worship the beast in his image. And he causes that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So they're going to send out a decree to all the Christians that don't want to be a part of the system. They're going to try to kill them. That's why he makes war with them. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. There is that mark of the beast, believing in a false system of worship, counterfeit system of worship. And that's how you see the mark of the beast today. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you can't have any economic transactions unless you have the mark of the beast, according to them. So here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. His number is 666, 666. All the Sunday keeping churches know about the 666, the image of the beast, mark of the beast, but they don't know how to counteract it. So what can you do to counteract this image to the beast system? All right.
Did you read the part about they won't buy or sell, can't buy or sell?
I did read it. I just read it. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Okay, so you said that nothing happened, is what this person said. Nothing happened. Everything's okay, folks. Keep going along. It was just some crazies who are looking at the blood moon. This is basically what they were saying. Yet, if you look at this World Federation, which I'm going to leave the links below so that you can read it yourself, but it's talking about, this has been in the works since 1991. They set this whole thing up.
Yeah, they've had this thing ready to roll out for decades now.
Okay, and so they have a section, Article 7, the World Administration, Article 8, the Integrative Complex. They have it all set up for you, but what I want to show you is Article 10, the enforcement system. So they want to know, how are they going to be able to enforce their laws? World law, they call it world law. The enforcement of world law and world legislation shall apply directly to individual, and individuals shall be held responsible for compliance with world law. Okay? And it talks about Section C, the World Police, the section of the staff of the Office of the World Attorneys General and the offices of regional world attorneys responsible for the apprehension and arrest of violators. Okay, this is stuff that's written down, folks. The means of enforcement says non-military means of enforcement of world law and world legislation shall be developed by World Parliament. And the part I wanted to talk about, okay, how they're gonna, means of enforcement. Non-military means of enforcement of world law and world legislation will be developed. And they say the military mean non-military. This is, they're saying, hey, they're not gonna enforce it with the military. Non-military means of enforcement which can be developed, it may include denial of financial credit, denial of material resources and personnel, revocation of licenses, charters, or corporate rights, impounding of equipment, fines and damage payments, performance of work to rectify damages. Okay, so they can make you work for them for free to pay for something. They can deny you credit, which that's the enforcement. You can't buy or sell. Okay, denial of material resources. Hello, what's material resources? Food, toilet paper, okay, things like that. Necessities that you need to get. You know, gasoline for your car. Imprisonment or isolation. Isolation, what is that? And other means appropriate to the specific situations. And so they're saying to cope with situations of potential or actual riots, insurrection, and resort to armed violence, particular strategies and methods shall be developed by the World Parliament. So I just want to show you that when people say nothing happened, that is a lie from Satan. And those people who are telling you to make fun of the blood moons are also have an evil spirit. And if they don't change, well, they're going to be on the wrong side. And so these 4 blood moons are signifying an hour, a day, a month, and a year. Okay, it's a time frame. When you look on Yah's clock, the 4 blood moons are significant, that there were 4 blood moons on the feast days. So what we want to tell you is to wake up.
Right. So this Federation Charter from the UN is basically, right now, it's the law of the land in the United States of America. No longer are we really under a constitution, and really it's been ignored by our senators and congressmen and presidents for several years now. It's just that now they're coming out in the open with it. And this is the fulfillment of the prophecy in Revelation 17, and verse 10, or verse 12 says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These are the 10 horns of the scarlet-colored beast, which is ridden by Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. This woman is drunken with the blood of the saints and with the martyrs, and so forth. So these 10 horns, these 10 horns in biblical prophecy represents civil authorities, nations, and so forth. And 10 is a universal number showing that the whole world wanders after the beast, so all the nations of the world have given their power to the beast for 1 hour. See, because they want to make this new world order go into effect, go into operation. They think that they'll be greatly rewarded by giving their power to the beast, but it turns upon them.
They end up turning on the beast.
Yes, we'll show you here in a minute. Verse 13, these 10 horns have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. See, these 10 horns are the same as the days of these kings of Daniel 2, 44 and 45, when Yah sets up his kingdom, which is the escape mechanism for those that don't want to be part of the image of the beast system. You got to come in and join Yah's everlasting kingdom. Daniel 2, 44 and 45. So they give their power to the beast and to strengthen it. And then verse 14 says, these shall make war with the Lamb. These 10 kings and this beast are going to make war with the Lamb. And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Master of masters and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Showing he has a select group called the 144,000 are with him. And when this beast comes to make war with the Lamb, it gets defeated. It goes down. And verse 15 says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, because we know that the leopard-like beast, Revelation 13, came up out of the sea. The sea represents peoples and so forth. And so she's ruling over all these different people, countries, nationalities, languages, and so forth throughout the world. But Yah's going to bring forth a remnant out of those nations of the world, and according to Revelation 7:9, the great multitude. But this woman has them all in captivity right now. And verse 16 says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, because they fight the Lamb, which is the Son of Yah. He's coming back. He's going to be right here upon this earth. And he's going to be visibly present in these last days, just like he was at his first advent. So, and these 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore. Why? Because they got betrayed. The whore lied to him, which Satan all he is a pathological liar. He lies all constantly. So, and they shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Showing this whore, which is the Roman Catholic Church, is going to be destroyed, and they're going to be burn her up, make her naked, and once she gets destroyed, consumed, then it will never be upon the scene again. But we have a 42-month period of what we call hell upon this earth, with this image of the beast system roaring like a lion, trying to destroy all of Yah's saints. And even for the people that are a part of this image of the beast system, it's going to be hell, because they're going to face Yah's judgments during this time. And he's going to pour out his wrath upon the wicked.
Now, when you have a prey and you want to kill the prey, do you let them know you're there, or do you come by stealth and you watch their every move and you wait? You've seen a cat wait to kill its prey. It doesn't just all of a sudden let the prey know it's there. It waits. It's patient. It's just waiting until it just watches you go left, right, left, right. The Catholic Church is like that. They're not going to come out. They came out and came over here like, oh, everybody loves us and we love everybody. But you can see between the lines. I mean, look at the fact that he loves gay people, and he had meetings with gay people, and the Pope is just wanting to lean towards this more evil and outright evil agenda. And so he doesn't tell you that there's a world government. He doesn't tell you that there's edicts about if you don't do what they say, they're gonna keep you from using a credit card, or keep, everybody's using bank cards to do transactions, and that's what they're forcing. In fact, when was it that was the cutoff date just recently, where they said if October 1. Oh, why did that just happen right after the Pope came? October 1 was the cutoff date, that if your banking card didn't have the RFID chip, it's not going to work. And so these things are not coincidences. They're actually things that are happening behind the scenes with banking and all that. So he's there. when everybody has been waiting for the mark of the beast and everybody's been waiting for the National Sunday Law, it's not that they're going to announce, hey everybody, National Sunday Law, when he comes over here. He has to come over here where people will love him, and the Pope has to come over here and pretend like he's this great person. But look up his information. He was and is on the side of pedophiles, okay? There's people who are saying that he has taken part in these things. And so the whole Catholic Church is a front for a religion, and really it's a Luciferian kingdom. That's what the UN is all about. It was based on Luciferian principles with Madame Blavatsky, the Lucis Publishing Company, which is now called Lucis Trust. So look into all that, and you tell me that when the Pope came over here, at the very time it was on Yah's calendar that showed the last blood moon, it's not a coincidence that we have gone from 1 hour to the next hour.
Yeah, we're in the final hour of this Earth's history, because it says they give their power to the beast for 1 hour. These kings do, and so that's the 12th hour, the hour which we're living today. Now it says here in verse Revelation 17 and verse 5, it says, "And upon her forehead was a name written." This is the whore of Revelation 17. He carried me away in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So she has a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Upon her forehead was a name written, "Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth." So every abominable thing that's taken place in this earth today, the Roman Catholic Church has their hands in it. Whether it's these pedophilia rings that are run throughout the nations of the world, the Catholic Church is directing that through the Jesuit order and other things. These running drugs, running weapons, getting the ISIS group over in the Middle East. It's a CIA operation, which is Jesuit. You can just all these evil things that are happening there today, you can trace them right back to the Jesuit order and Roman Catholic Church.
Mystery Babylon.
So she's the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
So it's not known by everybody. It's like a mystery. Who's doing this? Who did that? Who's running the CIA, the Catholic Intelligence Agency? Who's running the Jesuits? Why is the Pope a Jesuit Pope? What is the oath that the Jesuits take? The Jesuits take a certain oath, and what is it that the Jesuits do? They embrace, enfold, and they there's one more word. They just extinguish. Okay, embrace, enfold, extinguish. So at first they're your chummy friend, and then they take over your organization. They're not wanting to get rid of your organization. They just want to infiltrate it and take over. That's what they've done to all the religions. That's what they've done to Seventh-day Adventist Church. And that's what they've done to the United States. And the United States was supposed to be a land of religious freedom. And he talked about religious freedom a lot, because that's what Satan does. He tells you what you want to hear, but he's religious liberty. Religious liberty. But what he's really doing is wanting to take you into bondage.
Yeah, religious liberty to accept all the abominations that they promote, which is, gay marriage, pedophilia, all these sex slave trading and so forth that they do.
That's one of the things of the UN. The UN is going to be able to enforce a lot of the things that they want, like population control. How are they controlling the population? By everything, GMOs, vaccines. The other thing that happened also was they changed over from national medical codes to international medical codes. So if you work in the medical field, you should have heard about this. They just switched over where I don't remember how many thousands of codes there are that they have to do now. Why? Because Satan likes to keep a controlled, wants to know what his effects are. If he's giving you GMOs, he wants to know you have leaky gut. If he's spraying you in the skies with chemtrails, he wants to know that you're getting problems with your lungs and that you're being affected by it. He doesn't just want to do it. He wants to know what are the effects. So EMFs, all these things, now they have codes for every single part of your body, any kind of ailment that you would get. So let's just say they spray in Brazil, and everybody in Brazil ends up getting sick with the certain things that happen from chemtrailing. Then they know that that was effective. If they give vaccines in California, then a couple of weeks later, they want to see people going into the doctors with all the effects of the vaccines. This is how evil it is. This stealth taken over is going even higher up. They just took away the guns from people that have certain things on social security because they can already control you with that. And then for the VA veterans, they've taken away the guns. And people are like, nothing happened. They're not taking any guns. Really? They are. They're just not going to put it on the media.
Yeah, they're going to take away all your rights and everything. The only thing that's held them back over the years is this Second Amendment of the right to bear arms. So once they can do it with that, just like they did in Hitler's Germany and other China and
Australia
and Cuba and places like that, then they have full control of the population. They don't have any resistance. They can go in there and do what they want. So
you need to be in Yah's kingdom.
Yeah.
And you need to know where is the kingdom, what about the kingdom. I just want to say this thing. The Bible says, as in the days of Noah. So there was something that happened in the days of Noah that also happens in the last days. And one of the things is that Noah made an ark, and people had to get into it. Now, there was 7 days that went by before the flood came. So, right, after they entered the ark. So, when you say nothing's going on, that's the same thing that the people said. Well, where's your rain? You thought you said it was going to rain. And they mocked. And that's exactly what's happening today. And the ark of safety is what Yah has for us in his kingdom. So there's only 8 people that were saved at that time. At our time, there's going to be a lot more people saved. But compared to the world, there's a lot of people that are mocking Yah's kingdom, mocking him with all these evil things that they've brought in. And the kingdom, I want to ask you, what does it take to have a kingdom? What does Yah have in his kingdom? Well, you need a law. So Yah's kingdom has a law. You need...
Yeah, a set of laws to rule the people.
Right, which is a government. You need a government. And so
Governmental system.
If you're going to meet with your people, and Yah is just the same. He has courts and everything. And so if he's going to meet with his people, he needs a calendar to meet with them. That's what he established. At the very beginning in Genesis, he established his calendar system. And nobody thinks that that's important. But in Yah's kingdom, that is the law that he goes by, that calendar. And then you have people, so people need to join his kingdom. And you have a king, which that's Yasha, and you have a domain. Now, right now, there's just a place that he starts, and he sets up a kingdom, a place of safety during the time of great persecution where his people have to come into. This secret pavilion that Ellen G. White talks about. And so there is a place, and you can mock day and night, but when the rains start to fall, you're going to regret that you didn't find out about this kingdom. And so there's going to be millions of people in or already taking part of the kingdom of the Catholic Church, this mystery Babylon, this harlot. Everybody's in that kingdom because they choose to be. So you're going to have to choose to not be in that kingdom. You're going to have to choose to go by the calendar that Yah has given to his prophet in the 1970s to explain the exact detail of when we have the Feast of Tabernacles, when we have the Passover. You need to know these things. Yah put Moses on correct time, and he's put us on correct time. And so this kingdom is being set up, and it has been set up. And so you need to know more information, and we'd like for you to contact us. This is not just a video to watch that's entertaining. You need more details about the kingdom. You need more details about the calendar. You need more details about your high priest in heaven today. You need to know what's going to protect you from this evil world federation that has been set up.
All right, let's go back to Joel 2, and it says, verse 30, I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Yah come. So we've seen the moon turn into blood 4 times now here in the last 2 years. And so right now we're entering into the great and terrible day of the Yah, which is the time of the end. All things are at hand. And so, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Yah shall be delivered. So here, one of the things you got to do to be delivered is to call on his name, his true name. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Yah has said, and in the remnant, and the Yah shall call. So he's going to call forth a remnant to deliver his people in the last days. And we are living in the last days, and the remnant says in Revelation 12:17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So he doesn't worry about the woman, the Laodicean church. He wants to get the remnant, her seed, to come out of her. That's the ones he makes war with. But the Lamb is there to protect him, because when they have to make war with his remnant, then they have to make war with the Lamb, and he's the one who overcomes them and destroys their kingdom. Now, if we go to what we were talking about earlier about the messengers of Yah in 2 Chronicles 36, verse 15 says, and the Yah of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of Yah and despised his words and misused his prophets, till the wrath of Yah arose against his people, till there was no remedy. So, if you mock the messengers that Yah is sending you today, then you're going to be despised by him, and the wrath of Yah will come upon you. Because if you reject his message, his messengers, and you become a part of this image to the beast system and make war with the Lamb and with the remnant, then you'll receive the wrath of Yah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Because in Revelation 14 and verse 9 says, see, this is what happens when you get that mark of the beast. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. See, where over Revelation 13 says he's going to compel you to receive that marker in your hand or forehead, or you're going to be put to death. It says, if you receive his mark in your forehead or in your hand, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Yah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yah and the faith of Yahshua. So that's how you get delivered, is to keep his commandments and the faith of Yahshua, which is the true doctrine of the plan of salvation of the sanctuary system in heaven today. Now, we said earlier that today is a solemn assembly. Now, in Joel 2, verse 1 says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, that all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Yah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. So here we are. We blow the trumpet in Zion every new moon Sabbath, and on the feasts as well, and the seventh-day Sabbath. And blowing the trumpet in Zion, here's what it means. If you go to Psalms chapter 81, and it'll tell you that this was what ancient Israel did to signify that there was a new moon. It says, Psalms 81, 3 and 4, blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So we know the new moon is a solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Yah of Jacob. So the new moon, blowing the trumpet, is a statute, a law of Jacob's God, or his the one he worshipped. Jacob even wrestled with the angel, which we know was Messiah, all night, and got blessed. So you have to keep the statutes and the laws that he set up, and new moon being one of them. And today is also one, because it says here also in Joel 2 verse 15, blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Well, the month which you sanctify a fast is the 10th day of the 7th month, which was about 10 days ago, I guess. About 12 days ago, actually. It was on the 10th day of the 7th month, and today's the 22nd day, so almost 2 weeks ago we had the Sanctify Fast, which is the Day of Atonement. It's a day of fasting. And you get your sins blotted out on that day because you follow the plan of salvation, the sanctuary system in operation in heaven today through Yahshua our High Priest. And now we have a solemn assembly. We call it solemn assembly because on the day of the solemn assembly is when you sanctify the congregation and you send them back to their homes, which these were the feasts in Israel's day, where they came from distant places all the way to Jerusalem. They had to spend several days traveling to keep these feasts, both in the spring and in the fall. And then after the feasts were ended with the solemn assembly, then they went home. And now it talks about that in 2 Chronicles, I think chapter 2. No, I think it's chapter. We'll read 2 Chronicles chapter 6 or chapter 7 and verse 9. And in the 8th day they made a solemn assembly, for they kept the dedication of the altar 7 days and the feast 7 days. See, the Feast Tabernacle lasts 7 days, just like the Feast of Unleavened Bread lasts 7 days, and then the 8th day is added, which is a solemn assembly, a holy convocation that we are keeping today. And then and on the 3 and 20th day of the 7th month, which would be tomorrow, Tishri 23, he sent the people away into their tents, glad and merry in heart for the goodness that the Yah had showed unto David and to Solomon and to Israel his people. Thus Solomon finished the house of the Yah and the king's house, and all that came into Solomon's heart to make in the house of the Yah and in his own house he prosperously effected. Now this story that we're reading takes place during the dedication of Solomon's temple, and they dedicated it during the Feast of Tabernacles in the fall season, and then after they had finished dedicating it for 7 days, he sent them away on the 23rd day. They were very happy and merry, but he knew that they would at some time maybe turn from him and follow pagan gods and idols, which Israel did after Solomon's death. And it says here in verse 14, it says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. See, so this is a call to the Israel today. If you
his name, Yasha is his name. The son's name is Yasha. And if you look at the original name of Israel, it was Yasharun. So they were Yasharuns. And so we are today, because we're in the recitation of all things. So we're Yasharuns too. So if my people, which are called by my name, so they're called by Yasharuns. If you were African, if you're from Africa, you're African. But if you're from Yasha, you're Yasharun. So all these people are going to be the people in the kingdom. Their name is Yasharun. So if my people, which are called by my name, so if you'll humble yourself, and humbling ourselves is saying, we didn't know all this. We didn't know this is what we needed to do. We didn't know about the calendar. But we've been sighing and crying against the abominations, so that way you would get Yah's seal for the last days.
Right. And here he also says, now mine eyes shall be open and mine ears attend unto the prayer that is made in this place. For now have I chosen and sanctified this house of David, that my name may be there forever, and mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually. And as for thee, if thou wilt walk before me as David thy father walked, and do according to all that I commanded thee, and shalt observe my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom, according as I have covenanted with David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler in Israel. So, unfortunately, they apostatized and went after other gods, and they lost the kingdom that was set up with David and Solomon, his son. It would have lasted forever if they'd have walked in his statutes and kept his judgments. But they didn't, so Israel got scattered throughout the nations of the world, and we're living in the day when Israel is to be gathered back together into one vessel, one place. And it's going to start here with Daniel 2, 34 and 35. It says, thou sawest how the stone was cut out without hands. This stone represents God's kingdom in the last days. It's cut out of the mountain without hands. And it smites the image upon the feet. They were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So here this little stone, Daniel 2:34, hits this image, this great image that Nebuchadnezzar had in vision, which is the world's history, and these symbols of gold and silver and brass and iron, and then you have partly clay and partly iron in the 10-toe period. We're living today in this 10-toe period, and this stone hits the image upon the feet. That shows that this is a latter-day prophecy that the stone would hit it on the feet. In verse 35, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. So we have a harvest time when this takes place. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. So we see the stone grows into a great mountain, which the mountain is the house of the Yah. It's a church organization, his kingdom, and it'll fill the whole earth in the last days, because it will consume and destroy the man of sin's dominion to the end.
So if you're in his kingdom, you have nothing to fear. When you have to fear is when you refuse to believe the truth for the latter days.
Right.
That's when you need to be fearful, because you feel like you already know everything, and this is not true.
If you despise and reject his prophets and mock them, then there's no remedy, and Satan will have his way with you, whatever he wants to do.
And the love of Yah sends messages for his people.
Right.
So his love is sending you a message to give you warning and tell you that there's a lot of things that you haven't learned yet, because there's been evil men blocking. We're about to have those evil men be slain in Ezekiel 9. And you can read that in Ellen G. White's writings.
Yeah, this is, like I say, the wrath of Yah is going to be poured out upon the wicked. I mean, it's not just the righteous that have to suffer during this image of the beast system. The wicked too. Yah's wrath is going to be upon them. But you've got to make a decided stand that you won't take that mark of the beast, and that you'll come and join Yah's kingdom. Because that is the ark of safety, that is the safety net, that is the escape hatch that you can avoid this, avoid all these terrible calamities, time of trouble such never was, a great and dreadful day of Yah. If you come into the kingdom, you'll be protected and safe.
Just like
it says,
just like in the Exodus, when Yah had enough, when he had his fill, he came. He heard the sighing and the crying of the people, and he came and he started step by step destroying all the Egyptians.
The greatest nation in the world at that time.
And he's going to do that today, and he has to start. It says judgment starts in the house of Yah. So it has to start with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because it got infiltrated by Jesuits like crazy. It's like when you get 1 or 2 fleas on your pet, and then they go to 10 fleas, and then next thing they're in your carpet. That's the same thing that happened. The Jesuits have infiltrated the whole Seventh-day Adventist Church, and people are blind to it. They go in and they listen to sermons from them. They go in and see them putting things up there on their, doing those 5 presentations. All of it is just Jesuit theology and getting you ready to be a part of that kingdom. They're showing you the great temples that were built, and they're just wanting you there. So Yah has to come in and get rid of these Egyptians that are in the church, the Jesuits.
Because they have taken over, and the Jesuit order is going to make sure that the Seventh-day Adventists will take this mark of the beast. In fact, their president, Ted Wilson, made a covenant with the United Nations over religious liberty. Of course, their religious liberty
at our last feast, April 6th,
is persecuting the saints of Yah and having Satan's form of religion being the one that everybody should follow and worship, and the rest to be killed and destroyed. That's their religious liberty. Now in verse 44 of Daniel 2 it says, "And in the days of these kings," remember we read those 10 kings in Revelation 17, they give their power to the beast for 1 hour and make war with the Lamb. So in the days of these kings shall the Yah of heaven set up a kingdom. So we know, according to prophecy, that he is setting up a kingdom today, because we're in the days of these kings, which shall never be destroyed. So this kingdom, once it's set up, will never be destroyed. It will go throughout eternity, and not only will it never be destroyed, but it says, "And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." So it's going to break in pieces all the other nations and kingdoms of the world, including the United States of America, and it'll stand forever.
And it consumes the other kingdoms, just the same as in Exodus, when Moses put his staff, which the staff represents his government, the law of Moses. When he put the staff down and it turned into a serpent, it consumed the other snakes. So it consumes all the other false laws, all the other fake feasts, all the other man's made doctrine. The law of Moses, which Yah spoke to Moses and told him to write it in a book, that law is going to consume all the other laws. That's exactly what the snake represents. The staff represented, and even in the old ancient Hebrew, the law is that shepherd's rod that Moses had, threw down to the ground. They threw their laws down to the ground, their snake, and the law of Yah that he spoke, because he says that, what is that verse I'm thinking of? It's man doth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah. So when he spoke it to Moses, it wasn't something that he wanted to be forgotten, forsaken, put on the cross, as they tell you. That is not true. That is a Jesuit Catholic teaching that has to be brought down. It has to be consumed by this kingdom, consumed by this snake. The law of Yah is going to be the one that rules the earth in these last days. So if you want to be on the opposite side and say that the only law that Yah ever spoke, or because he wrote it with his finger, that we only have to do the 10 commandments, then you will be consumed. You're on the other snake. You're in the Catholic side. That's a Catholic doctrine.
Right, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Yah hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, shown in our day. And the dream is certain, the interpretation thereof sure. So it's a sure word of prophecy. And so this kingdom, this little stone, becomes a great mountain, fills the whole world, is a government under Yah. It's Yah's theocracy. It's a theocratic system with Yah as the ruler of this kingdom, and it's under his laws.
So you talk about a new world order. That's a true new world order that is about to be put in place. And he lets people think that they're gonna, prevail, and all the kings give their power to this system, but it's about to come to its end. And you're going to want to be on the right side. You're not going to want to be on the snake side that gets consumed by the law of Yah. And so,
right. And go to Daniel 7 in verse 21 says, "I beheld the same horn," this is the papacy, the little horned head with eyes and a mouth speaking great things. "I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and rebelled against them." That's what we saw in Revelation 13. This image of the beast system makes war with the saints and overcomes them. It says, until this happens until verse 22 says, "Until the Ancient of Days came." So the Ancient of Days is Yah Almighty, the Father of the universe, and he's coming back to this earth because he's got to execute his judgments on the wicked. "And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came for the saints to possess the kingdom." So when the saints possess the kingdom, then they overcome this image of the beast, this papal system, and they'll eventually get rid of it. And verse 24 says, "And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise." and another rise shall subdue three, and he'll take their place, which we know is the papacy. And verse 25 says, and he, this papal power, shall speak great words against the Most High. Revelation 17 says he has the name of blasphemy on his head. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. This happened during the Dark Ages, because they shall be given to him until a times, dividing of time. That's what happened during the 1260-year Dark Age period, 538 to 1798. And so we're going to have a repeat of that with a 42 months, which is 1260 days, literal days, which is 3.5 years. So that began at the Feast of Tabernacles this year. And so it'll continue all the way till the Feast of Unleavened Bread, 2019. All right? But the judgment shall sit, and they, the saints, shall take away his dominion, the papal dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So you want to be a part of this kingdom. The saints possess the kingdom. It's under heaven here on this earth. It's everlasting. Nothing can destroy it. In fact, it destroys all the other kingdoms and nations of the world. So this brings us to the end of our study for today. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Write to us. Let us know that you're watching our videos. There's probably a lot of questions you have, and we would enjoy clarifying anything for you, bringing things to you, future answers. Like if you ask us any questions, you put a question below, or you contact us at 12thhourkingdom@gmail.com. So it's 12THHOUR kingdom@gmail.com. We can answer the questions on a next video. So we just want you to know that the 4 blood moons are significant, and the angels are letting loose the winds, and they're already blowing.
Yeah, and so we can clearly explain the calendar system, the laws of Yah's theocratic government that are written by Moses in a book called the Book of the Law. And we can explain and clearly show you all those, what is still with us today. And we know the sacrifice oblations were done away with at the cross, but yet we still keep the feast days today, and you have to keep it at Yah's appointed time, not man's. We know there's a lot of feast-keeping groups out there that keep their feasts, and they're always a day or two late from what Yah's true time is. So you got to get on true time in order to have true worship. God bless you all.